Hey, everybody. This is the main viewer, of course. This is going to be a very special edition. It's going to be a celebration of life and career for Miss Nichelle Nichols, aka Uhura, aka the person we all love more than anything in the world. We've got a big, giant, happy, glorious panel of guests here today. Rico is also here joining us. Rico Anderson.
All right, still working it out.
So, first of all, we've got Mr. Russ Haslage here, who started Subspace Radio, which is where Sirach and I, Melissa, are currently housed with the Seventh Rule. He and Aaron Eisenberg started the Seventh Rule and got the whole thing going in the first place. He also started the Federation with one Gene Roddenberry back in, like, I don't know, the 1920s or something.
Yeah, 1920.
1983. Wow.
1983.
We also have Melissa Longo here, everybody, wearing her Be Kind shirt. We've got
signed by Kenneth Mitchell.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
We've got Rico Anderson here. I think we all agree he's got the best background out of everybody. Scott Baker is here. He gives the best 2 thumbs up ever since Dr. Muhammad Noor's 2 thumbs up. Well, this is a competition now.
I'm up with on.
We also have our superstar and your best pal, Mr. Sirach Lofton, is here.
Hello.
Making us all a little bit cooler. Sabrina Wood of the Sci-Fi Sisters is here, making Sirach a little bit cooler.
Yeah.
Got my over shirt on. Got it. Got it.
I like it.
And Yvette Blackman of the Sci-Fi Sisters is popping in right now. She's just
Good
jumping in. You'll see her in just a moment. So I think we're all here. Let's say hello to everybody in the chat very quickly before we get started. What's up? Yvette Blackman of the Sci-Fi Sisters is here. Hey, Yvette.
Yeah.
There she
Hi,
is.
everyone. How's everybody?
Awesome. And we can't wait to see you in Vegas, by the way, Yvette.
Yes.
You got
know
my
you're
order,
going.
Melissa? You got my order?
Oh, surprises for Vegas.
Surprise, I don't have it.
It's gonna be exciting surprises for Vegas. And yes,
Good.
one of them was birthed today. So
Saw that.
An iguana.
That looked really good. Very beautiful.
Saw it. It was great.
thanks.
All right. So in the live chat, we've got Dr. Anne-Marie Siegel, who, by the way, is turning 25
birthday.
today. It is Anne-Marie's birthday. Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday.
Happy birthday,
Anne-Marie.
Awesome.
We have
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, we have prepared a happy birthday song sung by Mr. Russ Haslage. So go ahead and take it away.
Isn't that like copyrighted? Can I do that without getting in trouble?
Happy expired
birthday
domain, man.
to you.
Expired now.
You can do 14 seconds of it and not get in
Can you?
trouble.
Okay, let's go. Happy birthday
Birthday
to you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Anne-Marie Siegel. Happy birthday to you.
Birthday.
And Russ will be
That was
sharing
good.
stories about how he used to sing duets with Nichelle Nichols. Actually, that is not a joke. He really did. So happy birthday to Anne-Marie. Hello, Chuck A. Hello, Fran Iverson and Glenn Iverson. JR Poole, Kathy D, DJ Kitty Cat, of course, Robin Caceres. Oh, hello, Robin. Good to see you here. Everybody else, hello, Becca. We see you all. Everybody's popping in right now. Wayner, Peter C. We got you all. Okay, cool. Linda Anderegg, hello. Watcher is also here. Just Rosie. All right, let's get started. Everybody heard the news about Nichelle, and it was a lot of mixed emotions, I'm sure, for a lot of us, mainly sadness, but also I think a lot of huge amounts of appreciation and kind of reflection for everything that she's done and she's meant for us. Russ, would you like to get us started since you've known her the longest? Would you like to just kind of share your thoughts and memories of her? You used to call her mom. That's how close you guys
Oh,
were.
Mom. She and I met in 1985. I used to the Federation worked a lot with Creation Entertainment. And so I was always her liaison. I would take her, from her room to the stage and back again. So we got to know each other really well. And, we'd go to dinner after the shows and we would just talk and hang out, and did a lot of, on my Facebook page, I was posting like the very first picture of Nichelle and I going to dinner. And I look a whole lot different. So we got to know each other really well from all of these shows between, Chicago, where she's from, all the way up to New York and South Carolina. We went everywhere together. When she was at a show, I was at the show. So, and everywhere we went, well, you found it. That is,
wow.
look at all that hair.
Look at all that hair.
That's in 1986. We were in Cleveland, and after the show, she and I went to Swingo's on the Square, I think it was called, downtown Cleveland. So we went there to eat, and then on the way out, we saw a big crowd in the street. So we're like, let's go see what it is. And we were watching them film one of the Spider-Man movies in downtown Cleveland. They were using, it was an outside shot. So they redressed Cleveland City Hall. So we watched them do a little bit of Spider-Man. At that dinner, because we had already known each other for about a little over a year, and she knew about my organization, and she talked with Gene about the Federation. And so we were at dinner, and she said, I want to join your organization. And I'm like, really? And out of her purse, she brought the paperwork. There was an application form, and she got out a pen and she filled it all out, just like you and me. She said, okay, here's my phone number at home, and here's my phone number at my mother's house in Chicago. If you need me, you find me at one of these places.
And you started that federation with Gene himself,
Gene,
right?
Yeah. And she joined in 1986. We continued to do shows together. When I was younger, I was doing 1 or 2 conventions a month anywhere on the eastern half of the US. And we did a few shows in Pasadena. One time we were in Pasadena, and I was there in the green room with Nichelle, and George Takei, who was also a friend of mine, was there. And I said, George, did you know that Nichelle and I spent the night together? Normally we're up talking, but still. He's like, oh, you too, huh? So I thought, what do you mean? And it's how it hit me. I'm like, what? So yeah, we'd done a lot of shows, and so she joined, and we kept doing the conventions, and she was very great at recruiting for the Federation and doing PR for the Federation. And so we were doing a convention. I remember the blizzard. I think it was Erie, Pennsylvania, but I'm not sure if it was Erie, because you got 30 some years and they all kind of like in an old balding head like mine, that they're all mixing together. I know that her favorite thing after a show is black velvet. So I brought her favorite bottle of black velvet, and after the show, knocked on her room door and said, look what I brought. She's like, oh, you're such a good boy. I'm like, oh, thanks, Mom. And since then, she'd always been Mom. So I have, and when I'm not thinking about it, I'll have people coming for tours here at Federation headquarters. And normally before this weekend happened, she was always in our communications room, which is our video audio studio. And I would open the door during the tour and say, oh, see,
that's a picture of Mom rocking you to sleep.
I know. It looks like it. I'm not asleep. I am actually, that's in Columbus in 1996 or so. We were at Spaghetti Warehouse. And so I'm like, this was, she was having memory problems. She couldn't remember my name sometimes, but she knew who I was. And so I'm like, Mom, I got this picture from when we went to dinner in Cleveland for like when you joined the Federation, and that's me. My phone is off, and I'm trying to show her that picture. So that was, but everybody swears I was sleeping. That was, I got that one, and then so that was, we did a lot of fun stuff. We were everywhere together. She knew I hated traveling, and then we had talked about, because we used to sing a lot on stage sometimes. And I'm like, I can't do it, Ma. The stage fright's killing me. She's like, I like nothing better than performing on stage in front of an audience. I'm like, you got more guts than I do, Ma. So, yeah, so, but she was always wonderful. She was a great advisor. I knew 20 years ago about her memory issues, but I wasn't telling anybody. She still was wonderful to me, even on the day she couldn't remember my name. She remembered who I was, but she couldn't think of the word Russ. So I would show up at a show the first day, you know, Friday, and she'd go, Russ, and give me the big kiss. And the next morning she'd say, I don't remember you. And I'm like, uh-oh, we got issues. So it was breaking my heart. But I wasn't gonna say, because she had so much information in her head from her acting days that I'm like, she's got this. I'm not gonna mention it to anybody. So, but her handlers, the people that would travel with her, always said that when she saw me, she would instantly become happy and calm, which so she remembered who I was. And so in that picture in Columbus, where I'm sleeping, not really, where, you know, this was 1996, and she had already, her dementia had gotten pretty severe, but we were still great together. And so we still did all the shows. We still went to dinner. There's a video on Facebook. Our last time we went to dinner together was in Cleveland, and I took her to Mabel's barbecue in Cleveland. It was the favorite place we've ever gone. She loved it. And everybody at the restaurant was fantastic. And so in that video, we were singing a duet in the car, and it's still, my daughter took the video and posted it, and I had to cry. That was the first time I cried after I heard she died. And that was the song we used to love to sing together. And she was wonderful. She, you know, a lot of people have used this phrase on Facebook after stealing it from Star Trek II, but of all the souls I have encountered in my years of service, Federation service, hers was the most beautiful. She really was Mom, and she was perfect. She never let me down. She never let anyone down. She cared about everyone, and she loved what she did, and she loved that she had a positive impact on all of us. And I know right now she's up there singing and dancing and acting, and there's a big stage where right there she's in the middle of it.
Yeah. Everybody at home, very quickly, I forgot to mention that we put a post out on Twitter and a post out on Facebook that says to go ahead and share your favorite memories of Nichelle, and we will be reading them later on in this broadcast. So if you haven't done that, we'll add those right now, those links to the live chat. So make sure, you know, because YouTube, these live chats are great, but you can only fit like 1 or 2 sentences. So if you have a memory that you want to share, just comment on that tweet or Facebook post, and we'll read those later on in the broadcast, and everybody can hear your story. Also, very quickly, our good buddy TJ Jackson Bay out in Missouri posted a happy birthday to Anne-Marie Siegel with 2 other unsuspecting people from this panel.
Nice.
From Vegas last year, I think. Anyway. All right. Well, thanks, Russ.
Hey, what goes on in Vegas is supposed to stay in Vegas.
Whoops. We'll cut that right out.
Yeah.
Nobody will know.
Very, very good, Yvette.
Sarak, we know you're super busy, and we have you just for a short time. Can you share some of your thoughts and memories with her? You actually had the pleasure of sharing a set with her, sharing scenes with her back in the day with Of Gods and Men and such. What else can you tell us?
Well, I did in that moment have the honor of playing her son. And that was one of the big selling points for me when you guys were pitching the idea for me. It was like, hey, do you want to play Nichelle Nichols' son? And I was like, yes. So that was very easy. And the reason it's easy is because I've always found that Nichelle was just this grace and elegance personified. I've always seen her handle herself with this level of class that is really second to none. She has an aura about her. She used to dress in these really elaborate dresses and with the jewelry. And I mean, it was just so thoughtful and so original and unique when you would see her in her outfits. And even though I may have gotten close to her during the decline of her years, I never saw a moment in which she wasn't able to turn it on and give the fans Nichelle Nichols that they wanted to see and expect to see.
Yes, including just last December when we had the party at the end there, and she was actually getting up and dancing, right?
Absolutely. So even though she, was losing some of her abilities and her memory, she just had this innate ability to just know that so many of us loved her for who she was, and we wanted that little bit of her glow to just rub off on us. And as soon as we saw her, as soon as she got on stage, she would turn that glow on for all of us, in this kind of natural gift that she was giving to all of us. And she was on all the time. And I know it was difficult for her towards the latter years to be able to be on, but she still gave it to all of us, and she still showed up for our benefit because she knew how much it meant to us. And that's, to me, is one of the great things that Nichelle has represented. She has represented a consistent elegance, a consistent high standard of excellence about being a good person, about representing yourself well, about being articulate, soft, sweet. And I don't remember her losing control of herself or carrying on and having an outburst of diva that you see a lot of in the business. She was just a sweet and beautiful soul. And I'm so glad that we all got a chance to see her on Star Trek, but even more so get to know Nichelle as a person, because that beauty that you see comes from inside. It's not just an outward beauty, but it's an inward one as well.
Real.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think we all got to see that glow. The second that you're talking about, Sirach, you're right. Like as soon as she would go on stage or somebody would come up to her at her table in line at a convention or whatever, she just turned it on and she was magical, right?
Yeah, I always felt that way, and she never disappointed in that way. She was just on. And, I never got to see, the great legendary people. All of us didn't get to see Cleopatra or Queen of Sheba. But when I see Nichelle, I feel like she is cut from the same cloth of those magnificent women of history.
Wow. Everybody started nodding when you're saying that. We're like, yeah, totally. We get that legendary, iconic feel from her that is so rare and generational. Shout out to our good friend Tom Surprenant, by the way, who's in the live chat. Scott turned his head because he knows him well. He was a makeup effects guy for all of the Star Trek series after original series, I believe, like Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise. Anyway, Sirach, we know you have to go really soon, but if you have any final thoughts before you run, let us know.
My final thought is the last moment that we got to spend with her, which was at the farewell convention at the Los Angeles Convention Center, and just being a part of that event, celebrating, kind of bookending her convention experience. That was a true honor, and I'm glad to have just even participated. And in that moment, I walked away with an autographed Nichelle Nichols toy, which I have,
Toy.
and I will be cherishing that ever so much. So, yeah, we lost a legend, but she gave so much of herself to all of us that, you know, she will always be missed and remembered. And what she gave is something that we can all hold on to. It's an example of what, you know, a good person, a beautiful person, a kind and compassionate person can do and does with their life. So I have much respect for the legacy.
Thanks, Rock. Everybody in the live chat is going nuts for you as usual. Sorry, guys, he's got to go soon. You're going to be stuck with the rest of us. Anyway, thanks, Rock. Really appreciate you taking the time away. I know it's tough for you on evenings and Tuesdays, but we'll see you on Thursday.
Thank you, guys. Bye, everybody.
Nice work.
See you, buddy.
Okay, so that's going to be a really tough act to follow. So I think we should drop it on like Yvette or something, right? She went, wow.
Wow.
She was muted.
She's speechless.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know how to follow that. But
Can you start by telling us, I saw the coolest picture of you, and I think, was it Sabrina? You and Sabrina with Nichelle?
no, I wasn't there.
Who was it? I just saw.
That was with the Sci-Fi Sisters before I joined.
What? There's such a thing
There-
as the sci-fi.
yes.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, there was.
So did you ever get to
Yes.
meet
I
Nichelle
did.
or haven't?
So I met. It's pretty funny. Talking about what Sirach said about the Queen of Sheba. So me and my ex-husband went to Starfleet Vegas, 2019, I think it was. So she was there, and I think it was probably her last time there. We snuck into the vendor's room. Don't ask. And he comes back around. And he goes, Nichelle Nichols is here. I was like, no, it's too early. Why would she be here? So we creep around and we see her, and we're like looking at each other like, what should we do? So we go over to her and we're like crouching down like serfs. We don't want to bother you, but we just want to. And she was just so gracious. You know, we made fools of ourselves, but you know, I didn't know what else to do. We felt like we were in the midst of, you know, the queen, and we treated her accordingly, you know. But she was just so gracious, and she just, you know, she smiled at us. I'm sure she was used to it, but she just, we didn't take pictures or anything. We just talked to her, told her how much, you know, she meant to us. And, you know, she was just happy to be there and happy we were, you know, that we loved the show and everything. So that was my experience with her. I wish it was a little more respectable, but that is what we left with. But my biggest take from Nichelle is how the effect she has on the women, the older women in my life. You know, I came to Star Trek begrudgingly. My mother watched Star Trek all the time. And I found out yesterday at a memorial that we had in New York City from my cousin that her grandmother watched Star Trek and was in. So we finally realized that it was all the aunties, you know, she was their queen, you know. They would, just like who was it, Whoopi Goldberg said, oh, there's a Black woman on TV, you know, a colored lady on TV. And they, of course, felt the same way because, you know, who else? My aunties were the school teachers and the nurses. You know, they weren't cleaning anybody's house. So it was nice, I guess, I'm sure, for them to see somebody who, you know, was a respectable, educated woman who was being talked to like she was, you know, a human being. So that's what she means to me. You know, just like any other, you might not watch Star Trek in the Black community, but you know who Nichelle Nichols is. you know that was the Black lady from Star Trek, you know. So that's what she means to me, is that I know that she meant something to my mother and all my aunties, you know, my grandmother included. And I know from that is how I was raised, So, I when I think of her, I think of that, she was there for them. And I know it was a struggle, for them, leaving the South and coming to New York. I know it was a struggle for them. So anything that made them happier, I'm always grateful for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna mute
boy.
myself again.
Boy, you're right. I found the picture and I'm bummed. You're right. You are not in this picture. And you have no pictures of you with Nichelle. Just that great memory of her.
Yeah, it didn't need a picture at that time. It was just the experience that mattered.
Yeah. Was that Tamia's picture that she brought, Sabrina?
Yes, there's a story behind that picture too. So
Did you sneak
that's
into?
surely no, we paid good money. We paid good money.
Big money.
We stood in the heat for hours to get that picture. So we get there. We're at shore leave. I think this is 3 years ago. We had just started the Sci-Fi Sisters. And so we're wearing our disco shirts and we're there. We were all excited. We were gonna we're gonna go see horror. Oh my God, so this was it. And we get there, and Tamia we were in the vendor's room, and they had a million pictures of Nichelle Nichols, a million pictures. And they had this one picture of her with the natural hair. And we all were like, oh, that's the picture, from the motion picture. And if you see the logo that we have in the back, we have a sister with the afro. So that's the one. And I really loved George Takei's tribute to her this weekend, where he was talking about the first time he met her, she was wearing her natural hair. And she always wanted to wear her natural hair, but she couldn't on the show. So when we get there with the picture, we've got the picture and we just, we're going up there, and she's like Sarat just said, I mean, she just went, oh, come here, because she saw us. We said we were the Sci-Fi Sisters, and she wanted to know about it. She would love the picture. I think Tamia had to give her that picture, but she loved that picture, and she was like, "Oh my God!" Like, you know what? We gave her that one, and then we went and bought another one. That's what happened. But she was just so amazed at that picture, and I just remember that so well, that natural hair picture was her favorite. That's what she said. That was her favorite. And when George made that post, I said, "Oh my God, yes, I know. That is so true. She really did love it." So that was my total memory. She was so sweet, and we didn't want to, take up too much time, because, like you said, she was starting to forget and all this. But we were like, "Okay, Miss Nichols, we're gonna go." She's like, "Oh no, let's wait a minute. Tell me more." We were like, "Oh my God!" So that's why we're sitting there like beaming, the three of us. We couldn't do anything after that. It was like we were just walking on air after we got out. We got out of the little area where we were, and we were just like, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." So because I was 10. I don't know who here saw the show in broadcast, but I'm that child that saw the show. Russ, saw the show in broadcast. So I'm 10 years old, and people say what happened, but to remember it was, there was nothing going on with Black women on television at that. We had maybe Mannix said Peggy, or there was just a couple of things, and everybody Black was like, "You have got to see this show. This is Black woman on the show." And you have to remember, you want to put it in context for people, because this was the height of the space race. So this is like you're watching Star Trek and you're living, for all mankind. The Russians, were trying to get to the moon, and the Russians had just landed a manned satellite. They had landed something on the moon that February, and Star Trek comes out in September, and there's Nichelle, and I was just like, yes. Oh my God, we're gonna win the space race. I'm 10 years old, and I'm losing it. So it was really a big deal. The show was a big deal. It came out at a time, during that first season of Star Trek. I mean, I'm just gonna go historian on you, but during that first season of Star Trek, Apollo 1, ignited on the pad, and 3 astronauts died during the run of the first season of that show. So when we talk about red shirts and all this kind of stuff, we were living it at 10 years old and watching this show. So it was huge. It was huge. So I just want people to understand that when people say, oh, you know, I was watching the show when I was 10 years old, and you have no idea, like all the things that were going on when that show came on, and she put that piece in her ear.
By the way, there are a lot of people in the live chat, Yvette, that loved your story. Linda Anderegg says, that's so beautiful, Yvette. And everybody is now commenting on yours, Sabrina.
What, me sneaking into the vendor's room is all beautiful?
That sounds beautiful to me.
Hey, you do what you gotta do.
I was just thinking that. Do what you gotta do.
Russ, you saw it on first when it was first broadcast, right? Or did you watch
I
it
did.
later?
I was in 66. I would have been 8 years old. I didn't watch it a lot. I was too busy playing baseball. I became a big fan when the first movie came out. That really got me involved, and that's what prompted me to call Gene at Paramount. And the whole idea that you have all of these different people with different backgrounds and talents and interests, and we bring them all together. And as Gene always told me, we can do wondrous things, because diversity is the way to get anything done. So I did watch it in the 60s, and then I watched the animated series, but the movies are what got me really involved.
The first one, motion picture.
Yeah. And I called him after I went to Star Trek 2, and I decided I'm going to do something. And that's when I called Paramount and got lucky.
And George was like, "Oh, you too, right?" Isn't
Yeah,
that
no, that was later.
I was one of those kids that wrote the letter after second season. I
Did you
remember-
really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
I was one of those kids. We wrote the letter and sent it. Oh, you have to say Star Trek.
That's amazing.
I want to say something about what you were saying, Sabrina, in relation to Nichelle really wanting to wear her hair naturally, but the networks wouldn't let her.
I saw you perk up when she said that, Rico.
I was like, "Woo!"
No, you're like, all right, I got something to say here.
I got something for you. No, it's such a beautiful thing that was something that even in the beginning there she wanted to do, and of course we got, we still have a beautiful hairstyle that she did wear, but yeah, but then again, in like say the motion picture, we saw the natural hairstyle, and now today in 2022 with Strange New Worlds, we have Celia Gooden who's playing Uhura, and she has this beautiful short hairstyle, which it says so much in so many different ways, and it speaks in so many different wonderful ways to in terms of showing different types of hairstyles and showing different hairstyles that many Black women do wear, but you don't see a lot of it. And it also touches on, without actually mentioning it, how a lot of Black hairstyles throughout history were very much discriminated against. And you have people who flat out, even in the chats, would say things like they didn't like the way her hair looks because it doesn't look like, it's not Uhura, it doesn't look like Uhura, and who would wear her hair like that? She looks butch. All these derogatory terms and just things that it's like you're saying these things and you don't understand, you don't get it. And the fact that Nichelle from day one wanted to wear her hair like that and had the opportunity again in the motion picture, and Celia Gooding portraying a young cadet Uhura with a beautiful low hairstyle, it says a lot. And I think it's very important for people to really understand that in relation to how important that is. And, not just go by what used to be, because guess what? Nobody has the same hairstyle their whole lives.
Well, and you shouldn't have to ask for permission to wear your hairstyle
Exactly.
the way
Why do I have
out
to
of your
ask
head.
permission to wear my hair the way it comes out of my head? Why?
Exactly.
Who are
I
you
mean-
to say that it does not
Right,
fit a certain standard?
right.
That, it's like, no, that's not cool. So
It's a daily fight, believe me.
yeah, oh yeah, yes, I know.
At least you got hair.
You got more than me, Russ.
I used to have hair. I had hair. Oh yeah, well, I'll be there soon.
Ryan, you're muted.
Oh,
Sorry, I
don't
was
tell him.
muting while I was. Yeah, don't tell. It's better this way. Sabrina and
It is
Yvette.
all not along.
There are a lot of purple hearts that popped up in the live chat. Anne-Marie David Gregory says, Purple love, Sci-Fi Sisters, lots of hearts there, and from Anne-Marie as well, from Linda Anderegg. So those purple hearts are for you. Everybody knows that. Let me see. Okay, Robin informs us that her last name is pronounced Casares. Robin Casares, thank you very much. And Francisco is also in the live chat. Lots of people, lots of friendly faces. Sabrina and Yvette, you guys actually have to run in just a few minutes. Do you have any final thoughts or feelings about Nichelle or Hura before you leave us?
Well, one thing I will say, I want to thank all my friends who called me or sent me text messages because they knew I was going to be upset, like I had lost like my own auntie. I mean, I had so many people calling me. Thank you, all of you who felt so badly for me that you sent me messages. I was just like, I'm okay. But they were just really upset, and they were really upset for me and my love of Uhura and Nichelle Nichols. And I really appreciate everybody who sent me, good wishes and feel better. So thank you guys.
I guess the same for me. The New York City Trek family, we had a wonderful day yesterday. The city has, on Tuesdays, they have park movies in the park, and yesterday was First Contact. So we all got together and went to see it in the park, and Paramount was there, and they treated us so kindly. All the guys were in their black and grays, and it was great. I needed that because I was away all weekend, so I didn't get to really see everybody. So when I came back, they had a little thing for Nichelle in the beginning of the movie, and the place was packed, which was great, but it was nice being with everybody yesterday. So it was nice to be with all the nerds and people. Just like Sabrina said, people would come by and go, "We're so sorry about your loss. We're so sorry." I'm like, thank you. Yeah, as we call them, the muggles. The muggles came by and said, passed on their condolences. So it was very nice. So it's
cute.
difficult, right? It's I don't even know how to. I was very. I don't think I've ever been that sad about someone on TV dying, but it really did hit me kind of strongly. I was surprised. So
Well, you also did meet her personally, and she meant a lot to people, not just some actor that was out there doing their thing.
Exactly.
I do want to read before you go. Scott Jensen says, "Love you, Sabrina." Jim Westbrook says, "Thank you, Sabrina and Yvette, for coming on here to share with us." J.R. Poole says, "Yes, Sabrina, I got a lot of messages too. It was heartwarming." Kimber Spores said, "God, you guys get so much love. My goodness." Kimber Spores says, "Thank you, Yvette and Sabrina," with a big purple heart. Chuck A says, "Thanks, Yvette and Sabrina." Watcher says, "What great friends Sabrina has." Wayner says, "Thank you." You get the you get the message. Everybody loves you.
And we love everybody.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks for having us again. We appreciate you.
Yes.
You ladies.
Man, I cannot wait to see you guys in Vegas.
Can't wait to see you in Vegas. Hey, we're gonna have
Can't
a
wait
meet.
for the hugs.
We're gonna have a meet and greet on Wednesday at 9 p.m. I don't know where because I don't know nothing about Bally's, but I
Somewhere
get
in
there early.
Bally's.
I'll get there early and figure it out. So come see us.
Awesome.
Awesome. We will see you.
Yes.
Thanks very much,
Right.
Sabrina and Yvette.
Thank you for
Bye.
having
See you
us. All right,
soon.
bye, you guys.
Great to
It's so
see
great
y'all.
to see everybody.
Ladies, have a great one.
Bye.
And Russ, you said you can stick around. That's great. You were gonna
I
have to
Having way
possibly
too
run
much
in
fun.
Oh, this is great. Good, awesome. Okay. So everybody else here is gonna stay for the duration. Right now, Mohammed's like, what? Oh shit.
I'm good.
Like, I'm hungry.
I'm good. I'm good. I had dinner.
Yeah. So everybody at home, remember, if you have any thoughts or memories to share, just go ahead and put them on the Facebook post that we are putting in the live chat here. And so then we can read them later on in the show. I'm adding them in the live chat right now for Facebook and Twitter. And then that way we can all read these and know more about it. Okay. Rico, you know Nichelle well. We've shared some sets with her. We've seen her at conventions. We've seen her at events. We've taken pictures with her. Were you the one that actually got the picture of me when Nichelle planted her when we actually did a mouth-to-mouth kiss a few years ago? Were you the one that took? I guess the look on your face says no.
No.
I can't remember who that was, but it was at that event, where you posted a picture recently with the three of us, and it was that same night, and I was just taking a picture with us and with her, and she's like, "Give me a kiss." Oh, okay, like that. But then she did it like, so there's like a picture of the two of us, and I think my look is kind of like, what's happening? But hey, hey, that's the memory of a lifetime. Anyway,
I think that was at the Renegades, the episode 2 premiere.
I think so. Maybe like 2017 or something like that.
17, I think. Yeah, something like that. But
so you've met her a lot of times. You've spoken with her a lot of times.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about her that we don't already know?
My first time meeting Nichelle was unexpected because my then girlfriend worked at she stage managed the play Equus at East West Players. Yeah, and East West Players is the largest Asian American theater company on the West Coast. And George Takei was in Equus, and she knew me, big Trek fan guy I am, and she came home one day. We were living together. She came home one day, and she was like, "So George is having an after party at his place for Equus. You want to go?" And I'm like, "You dated me? Yeah." Of course we're going. I will kill all the plans. Yes, we're going. I want to meet George. And so we went, and George answered the door. She introduced me, and I saw the play also, but I didn't get a chance to meet him then. But met George. He had like, a full spread, like a full like a full buffet, just like, like Jurassic Park. We spare no expense. He had the whole spread. He's like, grab what you want. We're all sitting in the dining room. Go in there. You can meet everybody. Enjoy yourself. Great meeting. I'm like, great. Thank you so much. I grabbed my food. I grabbed my girlfriend's food. We're walking in the thing. I walk in. I turn to the left. Nichelle. Did not expect her there. And I was just like, oh my God. So the fates decided you're going to sit next to Nichelle because those were the only 2 seats that were like basically available. The one right in front of her, and there was an empty seat there for my girlfriend. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, sitting right behind, right across from her. And she said hello. I said hello. Very small talk, but very just very nice. Conversation. And in my mind, I'm just like, Don't talk about Trek. Don't talk about Trek. Don't fangirl.
Oh.
I'm just trying not to. I don't know. I was trying to not. Sometimes you just want to eat. So I just, so I'm sitting there and we're talking about this, that, and we're talking about a lot of stuff. And then all of a sudden, Nichelle just brings up Trek. And so I'm like, okay, we're talking about Trek. Go. And so we end up talking and have this just wonderful conversation. Long story long, towards the end of the evening, she took a picture. We took a picture together. And she, as she was leaving, I told her it's an honor to meet her. I hope to work with her one day. And just thank you so much for all that you have done and continue to do. And we pretty much said our goodbyes from that. She asked me to send her the picture via her website, and I did. And, that was just a wonderful experience because it wasn't expected. Years later, I had met her at a tribute for the Nicholas brothers, where we were both guests for that. She was interviewed talking about her knowledge of the Nicholas brothers, her meeting them, and I believe working with them also. And I was involved with it. I had done a scene from the life of the Nicholas brothers. And then and in between all of that, conventions, when I was guest at San Diego Comic-Con, just different conventions. And then I had the opportunity to interview her at Silicon Valley Comic-Con, which was, again, an ultimate experience because that was the opportunity to really get a chance to sit down and talk to her some more. And it was great. It was great. And I was beside myself again, but I also told myself as I'm doing this interview, man, it's going to be awesome to be able to go back and watch this interview over and over and over again. Come to find out, the interview was not being taped. And
Whoops.
yeah, but they were.
That's usually Scott Baker's job, by the way, everybody. He's a camera guy, he's a DP, but he was like, I got to eat these ho-hos outside. I'm hungry.
Right. I was like, dude, Michelle, we're talking here. So Scott had one job and he failed. And yeah, but Mr. Ryan T. Husk came through and hung out for about 5 minutes to support the panel and everything. And I got 5 minutes of footage because Ryan pressed the record button. And
what a hero.
Yeah, I know. I take back all the horrible things I've ever said about you. And yeah, so, and just there are just other moments, and especially, of course, the farewell weekend at LA Comic-Con, where again, just like everybody's been saying, her seeing you, especially around that time when she wasn't remembering and all of that, but every single time we saw her, even if she didn't remember us, it's like we just met her for the first time, but her energy and her life was just poured out of her into us, and you just felt that love every single time. And it made for a perfect I don't even want to say ending, but just a perfect celebration of her life, her career, and just everything. It was just such an honor to be a part of it, going from when I first met her to now. And so, yeah. I had an opportunity during the interview to really thank her for all that she has done for the fans, all that she's done for Black people in the industry, in the world. I posted a caption. I did a posting as a tribute mentioning that what she did was very much, it made the world stand up and notice us and respect us in the past, respect us in the present, and definitely respect us in the future. And it's important that that continue through what she so beautifully exemplified. One last thing I'll say on that, like what Russ was saying in terms of quotes from Star Trek too, I always felt like in relation to Nichelle, because of what she was about to do and what Dr. Martin Luther King talked to her about in terms of not doing, and why her role on Star Trek is so important, she really did exemplify the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. One, because she wanted to leave, go to Broadway, continue her career, but she decided to stay behind and continue to do the work that was so vitally important back then. And it really did help a community of Black people, women, people of color in general. And that really does exemplify that saying so much. And this is before the saying even came out in terms of Star Trek itself. So she'll be missed for a plethora of reasons, but definitely for that and many others based on just personal experience and what she shared with everyone else. So.
How cool is it that she got to go out having seemingly accomplished everything that you would think that she would set out to accomplish? I mean, at the ripe old age of what, like 88, I think it was. And, you know, she went out on top. Like it feels like if she had a checklist at the beginning of her life, every one of those things on that list were huge accomplishments, and she did them all. And everybody in the live chat keeps commenting, Rico, or a lot of people, on your background, and it does seem like Nichelle is really enjoying everything you're saying about her. She's just like, oh, Rico, he's so sweet to me.
He's such a sweet it's such a great picture. It's such a beautiful picture. It just, you know, you see that there, and you've seen that every single time you walk up to Nichelle and say hi to her, even if you're just passing her by her table and you get a chance to catch her eye, you see that is her. That was her. Muhammad's picture, same thing. You know, it's like, that is her.
You guys, everybody at home, we have like a special treat for you that your friend Scott P. Baker has prepared for you. I believe it's from her last production. It was just maybe a year ago or so, and Scott was filming that. And so he's got some behind the scenes footage that is not public. So if you guys want to see what is basically some behind the scenes footage of her last job, her last production, Scott has prepared it. Do you want to fire that up right now, Will, or do you want to keep us waiting?
Yeah,
we could tease it.
I've got it ready here. Does it? I know the video will show. Will it play the sound, or? Is it
yes. If you click share and then you maximize for video, those two check things at the bottom there, and then you also got to go to the computer and give it a little tap up on the volume. I've come to find. Sorry, everybody, this is live. So
gotta give it a kiss.
Oh, I see. Share sound. There we go.
Russ is like, I don't know why I ever talked to you guys.
Optimize for video clip. Let's do share. Everybody's
perfect so far.
Okay, let me find the right spot here. This is I'm gonna cut to the part where we talk. I'm gonna just cut to the part where we talked about Nichelle in the video. So
makeup, because obviously you don't get to wear that every day. But yeah, I love being the different one, and it's been a lot of fun, and I know it's only gonna get crazier.
Almanar was first developed to basically create an homage to Nichelle Nichols' career and life, and also make it her final performance because she was retiring. So this, we've kind of built this on one of her pinnacle episodes, which was the Mirror Mirror universe. And what if Uhura, what would her life have been like in the Mirror Mirror universe? And that's how we created Almanara.
I cannot wait to see just how people react. I hope people accept me. You know, she had a perfect body, so I've been I found out a little late notice to really cut the way I wanted to, but I just really started trying to just shred and just get ready to just at least be slim thick, you know, to give them this image of this iconic character. She's such an iconic character, and to be a Black woman, and also this role just as a Black woman, it means a lot. So I'm so honored to step into it.
It was amazing. She's so luminescent, so full of life, so alive. Say what you must.
Enjoy it while you can, and I'm coming for you, and I'm going to shut it down, all of it down.
You can try, with futility.
Watch me.
I don't even have the words to describe how incredible it is that, like, I've been fortunate enough in my life to be in 2 projects with Nichelle Nichols. This is an icon, not just of like the Trek universe, but also of like pop culture and society. Like, dude, she's a hero. She's a living legend. And like little kid Brandon is geeking out right now at what big kid Brandon gets to do.
Sci-fi, the Star Trek universe, what's there not to love, you know? We're talking about legends.
The bit about Nichelle.
There's Tim Russ again, right?
That's Tim Russ.
He's directing, yeah.
Directing his heart out.
Cool.
Stop share.
Yeah. Okay, so that was awesome. I hadn't seen any of that. That just makes me think more about what Sirach was saying, how it's so true that like she just would turn it on, right? I mean, you're watching her. This was like a year ago, and you're watching her, and she's acting, she's focused, she's bringing the energy. The only other person I've seen that kind of does that in a lot of ways was Walter Koenig. We would see him on set, and he's walking along all gingerly and slow. And then he sits down in front of the camera and he's like, oh, what's my, okay, sips his water. And then we're like, action. And he's like super intense and killing that line. And we're like, holy shit, how did he do that? But Nichelle's doing that, just as recently as last year. That's amazing.
He was bringing it too, man. You saw that. You saw that push coming out of him.
Yeah. I was fortunate enough to get to film for that show, and I also did some of the interviews for her for like the Kickstarter videos and some stuff like that. Got to go to her house and obviously
several times.
Yeah, and a lot of people knew that towards the end there she did have a lot of problems with her memory and stuff like that, and that was sad, but there was also this thing where, like, because of her condition, she was like living in the moment always. Yeah. Right, and it kind of speaks to what Sirach was saying earlier, that like, when I think when people have that kind of condition, it brings out who they really are, because they're not putting on a face, they're not trying to be somebody else. They're just living in the moment who they are. And in that moment, who she is was this very bright person who was just always wanting to give it all. And when the camera turned on, her eyes lit up, and she was there, and she was in the zone, and she knew what she was doing. And, we had to have a teleprompter for her so she could, read the stuff, because she couldn't remember the lines very well. But in the moment, yeah. But like in the moment, she was there and she was present and she was, glowing and full of energy. And I saw that at the conventions too, when she was like signing autographs and meeting fans. And it was like, and it wasn't this, oh, I'm so tired of meeting the fans, and oh my God, why don't they just go away? And it's been however many years, and here's another autograph. It was like every person that walked up there, it was this new, beautiful experience that this person was having. And she was so delighted to see them. And I think that just speaks to who she was, at the core, that it wasn't this facade that she was putting on. That's who she really was,
Mm-hmm. You shot her a lot of times though. I mean, you did a lot of camera work with her and you have any funny stories? Because she would also joke around with people a lot. Like where was I just watching this, where we shot something for Renegades with her like a few years ago, like a promo videos, and she was just joking it up. You know, the line was, "Trek yourself before you wreck yourself," and she just was laughing about it, and she was razzing us and having a blast. Were there any moments that you remember of her just kind of like breaking character or making jokes or do anything like that?
I mean, I can't remember anything specifically that she said, but I do remember that a couple times where, you know, like, because I said she was reading off a teleprompter, and so she would say something wrong because she's reading it in the moment there, and she starts laughing about it, joking around, and, you know, having to like, okay, we gotta reset it, and then she like purposely says it wrong again, you know, because she's got it in her mind that it's funny, so she says it purposely wrong again, you know, just to make everybody laugh. And but yeah, I mean, it was always a fun experience, you know, doing that kind of stuff with her. Yeah, and just you know, like I said, it was always a positive energy, and it wasn't like, you know, oh, we're inconveniencing her or something like that. You could tell that she truly just was a performer, like at her heart, and that's who she was. Yeah. So, and it was always great, because it was like everybody was saying, you know, I think we're in this age now with like celebrities are on TikTok and like the golden era of like celebrities and people having the sort of mystique around them. I think a lot of that is gone, and there were a few celebrities left in our day and age now who still kind of had that, and I feel like she was one of those where there was this aura of kind of royalty about her. I think because she was in Star Trek, you know, original series, but then just kind of who she was and how she held herself and how she presented herself was more than just, I'm an actress. And it wasn't this diva kind of attitude. It was a very positive thing, but it was like there was something special about her and about who she was, and everybody just kind of knew it, you know. And you can feel that, like, just going to her house and everything like that. I mean, she was you know, her house was so beautiful, and she had, like, you know, the way it was like decorated and everything. And I remember going over there, and you know, sadly every time I went over there, she didn't know who I was, and would sometimes even forget who I was in the middle of the day. And
I still don't know. What
are you doing here, kind of thing. Yeah. But I remember her showing me the picture that she had gotten with Obama and telling me the story, and she just was like that. I mean, that was probably, you know, you could tell that was like top 10 moments of her life, you know, like she was just beaming and so proud to be able to tell that story about how she met Obama. And I think kind of knowing, you know, the small kind of, you know, piece that she had in history as far as like making that a reality, you know, that kind of thing of just being a part of that progression of the civil rights movement and everything like that, like the whole Martin Luther King thing, and just her being on TV, you know, and just being there is that, you know, that extra step forward for everybody, you know. And I mean, I remember as a kid watching reruns of Star Trek, and obviously I'm a white guy, but I think even for me watching a show like Star Trek and just seeing African American characters and Asian characters as they're just part of the tapestry of the show. There's not like, she wasn't a black character, she was just a character in the show that happened to be black, and just growing up and seeing that on TV, and it's not just all white people like me, and just seeing that diversity on TV and just be kind of normalized, I think definitely was something that I think that was just not a positive influence for the black community, but for, I think, everybody, just to like say, hey, look, here's everybody that's in our world being up on screen, and you know, being raised into that just becomes normal. And so now that I'm a director and I'm casting people, I want to cast everybody. I don't want to just cast people who look like me. I want to, fill out the cast with everybody. That's the, a representation. So.
Want to reflect the world as the world really is.
Yeah, for sure.
Anne Marie says it's so amazing hearing Scott's stories. I think Robin Casares, yes. She says it best. She says she made everyone feel like the most important person in the room. Kathy D says she was delighted to meet every single one of us. Yeah, she always, and it was genuine happiness. It was so crazy. Like, how could she be genuinely happy to meet every single person? But she was, because she's a freaking angel. Melissa, you had the opportunity to meet Nichelle, right?
Well, not actually meet her. I had the rare
You
opportunity.
snuck in too. You.
Well, no, but it's interesting because I had the rare opportunity to be on the fringes of her orbit multiple times. My first convention that I went to when I met Aaron for the first time, but when I got there, and after, he made me play a prank on Anthony Montgomery, but he was like, but Nichelle Nichols is going on stage in a few minutes and you should go and see the panel. I'm like, okay, yeah, it's Nichelle Nichols. So, and it kind of snowballed from there, from being on Renegades, the second Renegades, and there was a convention in Germany that I wasn't at, but Aaron told me this story of the opening.
Everybody listening, and she means Aaron Eisenberg, who played Nog on Deep Space Nine, of course. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah. But it was the opening ceremonies for a convention in Germany, and Nichelle was there too. And he was so excited because out of all of the people on the stage, he was one of the last people announced. But out of all of the people on the stage, she chose to dance with him. And he was so excited. He was like, I danced with Nichelle Nichols. And I think she kissed him on the cheek, if I remember correctly. And he was so excited about that. But one of my favorite memories, and one that I will cherish always, is the party in December, LA Comic-Con, and watching her dance. And just seeing the pure joy on her face, being in that moment, as was it Scott that said that? Just living in that moment was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen, hands down. And so
you notice how she kept trying to make sure everybody in that room felt special. Like she would give eye contact to every single person, give them a smile, blow kisses. Every time she could grab the mic, she would say, I love each and every one of you. And she'd be pointing, like, the most important thing in her mind was to make sure to connect with every single person in that room and thank them, right?
Yeah, yes. And when the people around her supporting her thought it was time for her to sit down, she was like, no, I'm getting up and I'm dancing.
Yeah.
This is my turn to dance. So don't tell me not to. And then, huh?
I'm sorry, Melissa. Now Scott's playing it now.
Yes. Yeah.
There it is.
It was so beautiful. She was just enjoying it so much. And yeah, she would dance with a bunch of people. And I don't know. I was lucky enough to be there in that moment to witness that, but I'm so glad that I was there. And she had an impact on me as a kid too, because she looked more like my mom than other people on television. And at the time, I didn't have words to articulate why Star Trek was so important, but it was because Star Trek, the bridge of Star Trek, looked like the world that I lived in. I was an Air Force brat. I'm from a multiracial family. And so that was normal to me. So Star Trek was normal to me. And it didn't seem strange or odd. It just looked like I was watching my family on TV, you know? So, and, you know, as I've gotten older, I've learned that I'm one of the lucky ones because it was so normalized. That diversity in one family was so normalized. She was a big part of that. And she was one of my favorite characters on the show. And then to find out why, you know, all of the things that she did with her life and not because anyone forced her to do it, but she felt like it was her duty as a human being to speak for people and help them and be there for them. And it's one of the most beautiful souls to walk the earth. And and I'm grateful to have been on the fringes of her orbit because those memories are for me, you know, those are mine to cherish. So.
Wow. Love that. By the way, Melissa, you'll be happy to know that I did a Google search and the #1 picture that came up when you search for Nichelle Nichols is this one.
Oh my gosh.
It's not really just
I don't think that's true.
Muhammad sent us that one.
That's amazing.
I have a story about that one. It's kind of funny.
You got to tell us.
Yeah, so this was obviously a photo op at Vegas. This was in 2016, I think, where you could do it on the set. And it was a long line, and we went through it, and she was so patient. Just everybody was coming up there doing their thing. So we went up there, and it was the three of us. It was me, my wife Julie, and my son Adam. So we get up there. It's like, "Hi, it's really nice to meet you. Really loved you on the show." "Oh, thank you so much. It was very sweet." We all stood in our spots, snapped the picture, and the guy's looking, and then waiting for me to leave. It's like, "Oh, your son blinked." It's like, "Oh, okay, sorry." So we got off there, stand again. "I'm sorry." "Oh, no, it's totally fine. It's okay. It's okay." Snap picture. "Oh, son blinked again." so we get up there, and she's totally, again, she's got this long line. This comes back to what I think Scotty was saying earlier too. She's completely fine. It wasn't like, "Oh God, I mean, you're making me stay here longer."
Yeah.
Exactly the opposite. "Oh no, it's totally fine, poor boy. It's okay." So I don't know if you show that picture again, zoom into my son.
Yeah, that's why he's making this face. He's making sure he doesn't blink.
So like, I'm gonna make sure that my son, I don't blink.
I ain't blinking this time.
That's funny.
You gotta have
Like the January, this was 2016, yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I as everybody said, I loved her on Star Trek. I loved her on other shows she was on too. You guys probably remember she was a recurring character on Heroes back in the late 2000s, and I loved her in that. And that also had a Star Trek connection since Zachary Quinto was the main villain in that show, who then became like the J.J. Abrams Spock later.
No spoilers.
No
Doris Takei
spoilers.
was in the show, too.
What's that?
Doris Takei was also on.
Oh, that's right. He was in that too. Yeah, exactly. Also, I'm sure many of you have seen Women in Motion, wonderful movie about, her role, not just in Star Trek as a role model there, but also for the NASA space missions. If anybody wants to see it, you can see it for free on the Peacock app. So if you get the Peacock app and download that, you can watch it for free. You don't have, or you could buy it from Amazon Prime or iTunes or things like that. But I figure a lot of people want the free option. So
yeah, that's less free.
Yeah, that's less free. You have like one commercial in the beginning, but then you can just watch the entire thing straight through. But yeah, that was the only time I met her in person, aside from just seeing her on the stage, as Melissa was saying earlier too. Always loved her. She was always so kind to everybody, and she was wonderful with us in that admittedly brief interaction, but very rewarding. I'm glad I got that, because there's not going to be other opportunities to do that in the future. So I love that we got to have a quick interaction with her and see her kindness firsthand.
And you were a big original series fan back in
I
the
was.
day,
I mean,
right?
I wasn't alive when it first aired. I mean, I was born in the 70s, so I saw it on repeat. So I love that. And I followed original series and then all the movies as they came out. And she was a badass character. I mean, I think this came up in some of the various people's tweets and Facebook posts. I love the scene when she was stealing the Enterprise. I think it was in Search for Spock, where there was this guy talking about like, well, I know your best days are behind you, but I'm looking for action. And she's like, you want action, buddy? And that's when Kirk and all them come in and she like shoves him in the closet, like, here's your action. And then they all take off. Great scene. And she had a lot of great scenes in all the movies. So it's always lovely to see her on screen.
I love the fact that in the new 4K version of the motion picture, they add a lot of scenes, and they have added a couple of new scenes with Nichelle and just a few things, and it extends the movie a little longer, but it really helps to it really helped to give Nichelle just more stuff, so it's always cool to see some of those extra things, extra scenes.
You guys want to hear some quick stories from people in the Twitterverse and the
also,
face?
if you have any, Ryan, you haven't had a chance to
library.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do it a little later.
We want it now. We want
okay.
it now.
So basically, yeah, and I mean, I've had the chance to meet her several times, and she was always nothing but, like what everybody's saying. She was super nice and super gracious. You know what it was? She acted like she was happier to see you than you were to see her. And that's not even possible. But she always made us feel that way, But one time, 5 or 6 years ago, I was tasked with interviewing her for Renegades. And it was only supposed to be maybe like a 15 or 30-minute interview, but ended up being like an hour. And we were just in this little closed room with a couple cameramen and myself and her. And it was hot and it was stuffy, and most people would be in a rush to get out. But she was so... here's the thing with what it felt like with her. It felt like it was not an interview. Felt like it was not a job. It felt like she was not answering questions. It felt like she was just trying to connect with another soul. Like she was just, at this point in her life, it felt like she had accomplished everything. And now all she was trying to do was just connect with one more person, and then make a connection with one more person, and then make a connection with one more person. And I happened to be that person for that hour. And it was just like, it was full eye contact. It was just her taking her time and talking with me. And really, it was like she was just opening up her soul and was just trying to connect and make another friend and impart her wisdom or her memories or her knowledge or her energy onto one more person until the next. And it was maybe the most, amazing memory ever. I mean, certainly, as far as meeting, celebrities or Star Trek people or anything like that, because of just what that interaction was. It wasn't a Star Trek celebrity talking to an interviewer. It was a lady who was towards the end of her life, who had lived and done so much. And she was just trying to give me that gift. She was, I think as people get older, they look at the people younger than them and they want to give that gift. They want to give that wisdom. They want to share that memory. They want to, and she did that in spades. And so that was a really moving moment. It was almost like a spiritual occasion. It felt like she was an angel. It was like everything else kind of just disappeared. And it was just the two of us, and she was just unloading mountains of love and compassion onto me. And I was like, I don't know where I'm going to store all this, but I'll try. I don't really have that much capacity for it. But anyway, it was really nice. And it was a great moment. And it was all because of her, because that's what she decided to do with herself at that time. And that's what she decided to do with her life. was to touch people and to make special moments and to make special memories and to impact people's lives in a good way, you know, whether they're on the big scale in front of a camera to millions, or whether it was just on a one-on-one interaction. But that's what she did, and she did it very deliberately. There was no accident to this. This was not, you know, blind luck. It seemed like a mission, you know, it seemed like this was her intention and this is what she wanted to do. But we could talk forever about Nichelle. Let's hear what these other people that have been so patient with this and they want to share their Starbucks stories for when they ran into, I don't know, I swear I saw somebody mention Starbucks in their story. So hang on, let's see this. So here's one. Kimber says her work with NASA and for women all around the world, she truly inspired women and gave us something to look up to, which is powerful because we need that even today. Kathy D's Art says, the last time I met Nichelle at Star Trek Las Vegas 2019, we were all laughing together and holding hands. I pulled out a fuzzy tribble I just bought to show her, and she was so delighted. She took it and petted it and smiled, just like in the classic TOS episode. What a lovely, sweet angel she was. That's so cool. She grabbed the tribble.
So great.
Yeah, so many good memories with her. Here's one. All right, so this is from our new friend, Robin Casares, who says, I had the pleasure of meeting Nichelle on 4 occasions, and she was always warm, funny, and absolutely lovely. I remember the first time I met her at a con back in 2015. She was seated in the autograph area, and there was absolutely no one at her booth. I was completely starstruck, but I walked up to her in my TOS red dress. That's the original series, everybody. And she just spread her arms and said I was beautiful. I told her what an honor it was to meet her. And as I sat next to her to take a photo, she grabbed my hand and held it tight. After the photo, we sat and chatted for probably 10 to 15 minutes. I remember telling her, don't tell Shatner, but you've always been my favorite Star Trek character. And she laughed and said, I'm going to run over there right now and tell him. I responded, well, you are Nichelle Nichols. You can do whatever you want. She had a smile and a laugh that could light up a room and genuinely made every fan feel loved. Every person I've talked to who has met her has nothing but glowing things to say. Even in her later days, when her physical health was waning and her intellectual faculties were diminished, she still maintained that beautiful smile and that fierce love for her fans. She will forever be in our hearts. If I remember correctly, Robin, I think there were some pictures of Nichelle's star and a few Star Trek fans, and I believe you were front and center in all those pictures with a big smile there. Glenn Iverson says, my mom and I were lucky enough to meet Nichelle twice at Star Trek Las Vegas. She was always wonderful, warm, and inviting, but my most fun memory is that I almost had the honor of being run over by Nichelle back around 2015. What a beautiful story. She was in one of those mobile scooters and gunning it down the hallway near Hash House a Go-Go. Couldn't keep up. And I'm sure I saw a mischievous grin on her face at the time. So, everybody knows where Hash House a Go-Go is that went to Star Trek Las Vegas at the Rio. Couple more here. Peter Cufaro says, I met Nichelle in 1990 in New Jersey at a con by chance. After calling her by her real name, she turned around and I snapped a picture. So impressed, we had a lunch and had a wonderful, warm conversation. Later in the day, I introduced her to my cousin Frank, who was also on the con doing autographs, also from his movie Goodfellas. Oh, wow. This one includes a picture, you guys. Check this out. Here it comes. Look at that.
Oh, nice.
Love it.
Is that Frank?
No.
No.
I think that's his cousin. Okay, and the last one here. Let me pull that up. It's from Mark Haven. My wife, Dr. Teresa Haven, was so inspired by Nichelle that she successfully defended a master's degree in linguistics on the Klingon language while wearing a white lace dress and carrying a bat'leth. She later earned her doctorate and dedicated her life to helping people with disabilities. Thank you, Nichelle, for helping make the woman that I loved. Hey, that's a good story. You could tell because you got a from Scott. He only does that when he's impressed.
And have you noticed that with every picture that you see of Nichelle, and even when you see her in person, she is just decked out from head to toe, man. She be dressing like she's going to the ball. I mean that picture, that last picture that you showed, the picture with Muhammad, and oh man, she just dressed so beautifully and just so elegantly.
Yeah,
she took a lot of time picking out which necklace she wanted to wear and which rings that went with it and the earrings. You know, as a married guy, you hate hearing, "How does this look?" Like, oh no, how do you answer this? But she would come out and put it all on and like, "That's nice, Ma." It's like, "No, it doesn't match the dress." And she'd go and try something else on. I say, "You look beautiful." "Well, no, let's try this." So yeah, for that look, she put a lot of work into.
And she had that big old beaming smile to top it all off to make every outfit
Best part.
look
That was
great.
the best part.
Yeah.
Love that one necklace
Gorgeous.
that I always see her wearing. It would be the necklace with the Star Trek with the
Oh yeah.
She wore that.
The IDIC symbol. Yeah, she wore the IDIC symbol a lot, and then once in a while she would wear a Delta shield. She liked what was it, aquamarine? She liked those a lot. So yeah,
it's a good one.
She did like her. She would bring so much jewelry to a show. It just what a cute.
We do actually have one more comment here. It's from our good buddy, Mr. Jim Westbrook, who says, "I only met Miss Nichelle one time. It was at Rose City Comic Con at Portland, Oregon. She was amazing and very majestic. I, of course, was too speechless and shy to say much of anything to her, but she did shake my hand." Oh, it's nice. Yeah, we do get shy sometimes.
We do.
All right. Well, do any of you have any final thoughts before we go?
If you want, I sent you in the chat the video of me driving Nichelle to our last dinner at Babel's Barbecue. It's 10 seconds long, but that's how we always were together, and we'll just laugh and have fun. And that was the last time,
Oh yes, great, got it. And I saw this. When was this exactly?
Oh, had to be 16. No, it would have to be 2018 in Cleveland. That's about right. About 2018.
Okay, so just
maybe
a few
before
years
COVID.
ago.
It was right before COVID. So
here is Nichelle Nichols.
There she
singing to Russ in Russ's car.
Almanar was first developed
we still
to basically create an homage to Nichelle Nichols.
I think you got Scott's video somehow.
Yeah, how'd you do that?
You've been hacked, buddy.
I don't know. Did you stop it?
I don't know. Let me try it.
Okay, no, I got it. Let's try this again. Here we go.
Glitch in the matrix there.
I know, that was amazing.
The video picture was right, but then that didn't sound like her voice.
Yeah, it did not.
Okay, you guys see her now, right?
She's over here, over on the left.
Okay, now let me know if you can hear this.
Yep.
Blowing a kiss.
something.
Remember all the words of it?
Yeah.
Because Holly and I used to sing too.
Together?
That's so cute. She blows you a kiss.
Yeah.
And sings to you.
When we used to sing that together, she always blew a kiss my way. So it was just that was our favorite show our favorite song to sing together. And even in those last few years, with a lot of people with Alzheimer's will get agitated because things just don't make sense. If I started that song, she'd sing along, everything got better.
All right. Let's say thank you to Kimber Spores, Kathy D, Glenn Iverson, Jim Westbrook, David Gregory, Linda Anderegg, Anne Marie, who is here on her birthday. Galenda, hello, Galenda, Pat B, Prince Julius, Fran Iverson, Watcher, and a bunch of numbers. Who else is here? David Gregory. Hey, buddy. See you in Vegas, hopefully. Oh, Muhammad's in the live chat. Cool. Chuck A. Robin, of course. Okay. You guys think we should still do the Star Trek Day trivia game question of the day?
Yeah.
All right.
Why not?
All right, here. Scott, because
that was a voice of enthusiasm right there. Make me want to know.
Scott's the most choked up out of all of us.
That's our Scott Baker. All right.
You guys can click the like button while you're waiting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Muhammad. Love
Yeah,
you.
why not? You know.
Yeah, everybody, make sure you like this video and subscribe to this channel, or don't. I mean, whatever.
No,
but this is from Star Trek Day from Paramount Plus. Some of you actually went to Star Trek Day last year. Hey, hope there's another Star Trek Day next month.
Maybe I'll drop my new iPhone in that too.
I know.
Right. Scott was there and he dropped his iPhone into the water, like into a, they had like,
oh my God, I forgot
hovering
about
above
that.
a stream or something.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And it was in a way where you could not reach it. So you were
it was
stuck.
just
way down.
Yeah. You were stuck.
Yeah. Okay. He was making a wish. So,
yeah. My wish was for a new iPhone.
Penny, not a phone.
Wish was for a new phone.
Did it come true?
Yeah. I
got wish for it to get it. Well, then, no.
But it still worked afterwards, right?
Kinda.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the question is, what Star Trek character was labeled unknown sample when discovered by Bajoran scientists?
I already know the answer.
Nobody answered the question. I know. I was wondering. It would have been so cool if it was an Uhura question, but no. These are all random. Is it A, Odo, B, Data, C, 7 of 9, or D, Khan Noonien Singh? Again, the question is, what Star Trek character was labeled unknown sample when discovered by Bajoran scientists? A, Odo, B, Data, C, 7 of 9, or D, Khan Noonien Singh? Ooh, this is a
easy
toughie. One. People in the live chat are super mixed up right now. They're like so many different answers coming up. This is, boy, it's a lot of you can be very disappointed.
I don't know what you're talking about. Really.
So real quick, we will go over what's going on this week as we normally do. Yesterday on the 7th rule, Sirach, Melissa, and our team released, let's see, what was it? It was Deep Space Nine. Oh man, it was the best. Season 7, episode 4, Take Me Out to the Holosuite, with Max Grodenchik joining us all the way from Austria. And we had just the best time. It was such a good time on that video that I emailed it to Ira Stephen Bear, because I'm like, dude, you gotta watch this because it's so fun and so good. And he replied, I can never get enough Maxie. So I think that was a yes, I'll watch it. Because Max was so wonderful in that review. So everybody go check that out on the 7th Rule YouTube channel. And then tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific, that's Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, Falling Tower we'll release our review of the Silver Surfer 1998 cartoon with Dr. Muhammad Noor as the special guest co-host. By the way, everybody, Dr. Noor here is the Dean of Arts and Sciences at Duke University, as well as a Star Trek science advisor, occasional science advisor, he says. And our special guests are Darth Shuey and Jennifer Durst. That's Jurassic Jen. Silver Surfer, what fun. It's because it's superhero. It's superhero month. So you'll like it, Rico. And let's see, Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern time on this channel. By the way, the Watch the First is on the Falling Tower YouTube channel. But on this channel at 5 p.m. Pacific time, we will be doing Star Trek and Chill every Friday night. But for the last 10 weeks, it's the Orville and Chill. And it's the last episode of the Orville. We'll be talking about it. We should get a whole bunch of people together to talk about how great it is and how much we love it, because we probably will love it because we have so far. So everybody check that out. And pizza. 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern time, right here on this channel. It will be live. So if you put weird stuff in the live chat, we will be forced to read it live. And then lastly, at 9 a.m. Pacific time on Sunday morning, and that's 12 p.m. Eastern time. Let's look at the schedule here. We will be releasing on the 7th Rule channel. That's the 7th Rule on YouTube. Deep Space Nine, Season 7, Episode 9, Covenant. If you remember that one, Covenant. We'll be having a fun little chat with that one. So check that out on Sunday, 9 a.m. That's it, Rico. We can answer the question. Everybody, we'll see you there. Don't forget. And we always release stuff on Thursday nights, but right now there's no new Star Trek to do that. So check us out on Thursday nights sometimes too. Here it comes.
After Vegas, though, we'll get it back.
During Vegas. What time?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
All right. The answer, of course, is 7 of 9, everybody.
Etal.
Scott Jensen wrote E. Ryan T. Husk in the chat.
Yeah, it was Odo, of course. Everybody knows, like literally everybody knew this one. It was like a sea of Odos, which actually is like the Great Link.
There you go. Well done. That was good.
Anyway, I think that's about it, right, guys?
Yeah.
I think we're good.
That was fun.
Thank you very much, everybody at home, for joining us. Thank you, Katie, Glenn, Chuck, David, Anne Marie. Go party with your watermelon.
Yeah.
What's the one?
White Claw.
White Claws. Is that what she's doing? Watermelon White Claws. That's her favorite. Just Rosie, David Gregory, Glenn Iverson, DJ Kitty Cat, David Gregory, Galinda. Sorry, I might be repeating people. Thank you all very much. And Scott Baker, thanks for joining and for sharing that once in a lifetime video that who knows if we'll ever get to see it again.
Yeah.
I guess we could play this video again.
Yeah.
And thank you, Melissa Longo, for always bringing the smiles and the good energy. And Muhammad for really, truly being the thumbs up champion. We were talking earlier. Yes. It's obviously you.
I know.
Well, okay, Scott's got a good one too, though.
Let's do it.
Yes. Yeah. I love your thumbs up.
We'll give your thumbs up a thumbs up.
And Rico, thanks for playing with us. It's a good time, as always. And Russ Haslage, thanks for, bringing us stuff that nobody would have any way of knowing because we weren't alive then. Yeah. And you really
rubbing that in.
It's
I just want to say,
I
I want it on record, Mom. I love you, and you will always be with me.
Yes.
Yeah. Really appreciate you sharing all that with us. That was really, really awesome, and this was the perfect time to do it. So thank you. And next time we got to have you telling us stories about Gene too, by the way. My goodness. You got a lot of goodies to share there. All right, everybody. Oh, Melissa Longo, can you tell everybody where they can find you online?
Melissa Longo on the social media stuff and the YouTube and, these places, these little shows.
What about you, Scott Baker? Where would you like to be found or promote?
Instagram, Mr. Scotty Baker. And you can watch the film that I directed. It's Tales from the Other Side. It's on Amazon. The segment I did is called Flicker, but Tales from the Other Side is like a anthology horror piece sort of thing, with a whole bunch of short horror things. But yeah, it's me.
Cool.
What about you, Dr. Mohammed Noor?
Actually, we first rep Melissa. This is one of her designs right here. This Walking Up Made by Melissa's t-shirt. Here it says just a simple tailor. It's very nice. I don't know if, I mean, Melissa, you could say maybe you'll be selling some of these at Vegas. So,
Well, there's some surprises coming to Vegas, some new stuff.
Okay.
Maybe some old stuff too. But yeah, I've been working hard on designs for Vegas specifically. So
awesome. So there'll be some great stuff, whatever it is. You just come and get whatever it is. Everybody can get.
And the new Nichelle one will be there.
That looked great. I love that.
All right.
On social.
Thank
Anyway,
you.
I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter is Mafnoor, Mafnoor, and on YouTube is Biotrekkie, BIOTREKKIE.
What about you? I am Rico Anderson.
It is I am Rico Anderson on Instagram, on Twitter, and just Facebook me. Follow me. And thanks for having me. Nichelle, love you.
Watch Rico in the show that he's in called
Truth Be Told on Apple TV Plus, seasons 1 and
Nice.
2, currently streaming. We are currently streaming season 3. I also recur on SWAT on Paramount Plus on CBS. So please check it out. Thank you for the plug, Scotty.
Nice. Russ, where can they find you and Subspace Radio?
Go to subspace.radio. We got one of those cool websites for Subspace, or trekfederation.com. And if you're going to Vegas, stop by the Federation booth. Join up. Nichelle was one of us, George, Jimmy, everybody joined the same way Nichelle did. And we try and do good things all around the world. So website, trekfederation.com or subspace.radio, and visit us in Vegas.
Nice. Kimber Spore says, truth be told is amazing.
Hey, love you, Kimber. Thank you.
Everybody, you can find me, right here on Virtual TrekCon, or Falling Tower, or The Seventh Rule. You can find those on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. But go check those out because we always have fun together, and we talk about Star Trek and Star Trek related things because we like it. Thanks very much, everybody, for joining us. This has been a great time. We really appreciate all of you, and we hope to see you again. Until next time, Melissa's going to tell us a joke.
I heard one, and I forgot it. Now that I'm put on the spot, it was so funny.
I love that one.
so good.
Classic.
Oh.